Unlock your potential today at skillbakery.com.
In our previous lecture, we covered how to create API routes and we tested them using Postman. In this one, we'll be consuming those routes and we'll be performing data fetching basically using createAsync method provided by SolidStart. So here under routes, we had the API directory created, and within that we had the users, and then we created these files like the index.ts which had these methods get, post, and then this one id.ts which was giving us the detail of a specific user based on its ID. And we also had this post method which used to create a new user. Now, I'll be consuming this, as I mentioned, using the createAsync, or we'll be performing data fetching. So here, what we have done is we have modified some of the code over here. For example, when we go to users index.tsx, you'll notice first of all, we are importing the createAsync method, and we are also making use of the for component from the SolidJS package. Now the method remains as is, user list. We are making use of the navigate over here, and then we have this createAsync. Within createAsync, we are asynchronously calling the fetch method, which behind the scenes is actually calling the API users. So this is a GET request, and we'll be getting all the users that we have in our file-based database. That is going to be assigned to this variable users. And here we are making use of the for component to iterate through that collection and print them over here. So we are printing the first name, last name, and age of the user. We're also providing the click event on the user first name, last name, and age itself. So the li element is clickable. When you do that, it will take you to the users/user ID where you will be able to see the details of that particular user. So that is the default page or the default route that the system will show you once it's running. Then we have the users directory. Within that, we have details id.tsx. So this is the page which gets called when you click on the li item. Now over here, you'll notice that we are again making use of createAsync from SolidJS router. And here we are making use of the use params. So this is going to get the ID of the user for which we want to show the detail. And here we are passing that particular ID using the fetch/API users. And once we have the data over here in the user variable, we execute this block. And here we are displaying the ID, first name, last name, age, and the timestamp. So that is a specific user's detail. Then we have the create.tsx. So here also we have the create signal and createAsync and use navigate. Here we don't need the createAsync. And over here you can see that we have the first name, last name, age setup. Then we have the handle create method which gets called when we submit the form. So here we have the form create. Now on submit, handle create method will be called. And here we are setting the first name, last name, and age. So we have specific methods, set first name, set last name, and set age. And then finally we are saying create the user by clicking on the submit button. So when we do that, we kind of go to this method. First thing what we do is we prevent the default action of the form using e.preventDefault. And then over here, we are calling the API/users, and the method is post over here. We are passing the data as a JSON object. So we have the first name, last name, age, and timestamp. And if there is any error received from the server side or API side, we'll throw the error, fail to create user, and we'll go back to the navigate route if user has been created successfully. If not, then obviously we are throwing this error. And if there's any issue, the catch block will alert us using this. This is also set. So what we'll do now is let's launch the application, and to launch it, all we need to do is just type npm run dir, and this is going to provide you the localhost URL. Let's open it up in browser, and here the first thing that you see is the list of users, and if you click on create new user, you'll be greeted with this form. Let's go ahead and create a user over here. So we have Johnson Math created and the age is 19. Let's click on create user. And once we do that, you can see that it is not displaying in the list. And in order to show the users, you can see that we have user details. So here the path needs to be updated under index.tsx. So this is the file that we're talking about. And we have updated the path now, user/details/user.id. Save this. And now if I go back over here, click on any of the users that you see in the list, you'll notice the details coming up over here: ID, first name, last name, age, timestamp. You can go back and click on any of the other users like James Andrew. And here we have the ID, first name, last name, age, and timestamp. So that is how we can consume the API routes or perform data fetching and mutations in SolidStart with Create Async. If you find the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.